Hi guys, it's KD here with another video around 1v1 Huns, and today I'm going to be talking to you about hotkeys. So a couple of things that I just want to go through with you guys today. I don't want to make this complicated anyway. I want to try and keep this as simple as possible, so I'm not going to be talking to you today about every single keybind I use. I just really want to give you guys a bit of insight, a bit of an overview, just so that you can sort of approach this in a way that you feel comfortable. So hotkeys, what are they? They are means of being able to bind specific actions that you use from your units, for your villagers, your army, all these types of things that you can do under a button press rather than actually having to click on the unit itself. And these can be done in an array of different ways, via your mouse, via your keyboard. It's really down to you. But really, you know, hotkeys are very important. It makes it easier to navigate around units and structures, and all in all, it's very worthwhile using the time to invest to get this down pat. So hotkeys, if I can just point out, are down to the individual. So, you know, for me personally, I have a very specific way that I approach hotkeys and the way in which I went about learning those, which I'll share with you just to give you an overview. But I just want you to let you guys know that this is just down to individual preference. There's no right or wrong answer in terms of how you actually approach this. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit though about how I actually approach this for me personally. So to learn hotkeys, I did not go about it in the sense that I changed all my binds and then I just launched myself into a DM game and then tried to learn on the fly. I would have found that way too difficult. So for me personally, this was about jumping into a RM game actually on normal speed against the computer of all things. And just learning it sort of slowly, you know, going through the motions as I would, you know, selecting those particular buildings that I would need, and just sort of getting used to the rhyme and reason of sort of attacking with these new hotkeys. So that for me was my approach. Whether or not that's, you know, will work for you, or if you prefer to just jump straight in, it is just entirely down to you. Personally, when it comes to the actual default hotkeys, the legacy, I don't have many that are the original legacy keys. I have some, but not very many. And I actually used a logic from another player, you know, going back a number of years now, where I learned that you can inverse the keys for go-to options. So what I mean by that is where you would ordinarily use the control modifier, so the control key, to hold it down and then select the relevant hotkey to go to that particular building. Instead, I would actually use that as just one bind specifically, without modifier. So, for example, to select my barracks, and I'll show you very shortly when these build, it would be simply just X. For stables it would be Q, for example, and for carry archery range, you know, archery range, it would simply just be F. And this is just a really simple way of being able to navigate very effectively. And the reason that I inversed this was because I realized that I was going to be spending more time navigating my buildings than I would actually be creating them. So why not have them inversed and have them, you know, easy access, easy way to actually be able to grab a hold of these buildings on the fly. So I'll just show you here. So X, Q, F, you know, and this goes on. As I say, I'm not going to go into the specifics, but I just want to give you guys an overview. And then as I go around, because I have one very simple bind for, say, paladins, which is just W, and then when I press X for barracks, C for a halberdier, and when I press F, C for a cavalry archer, you know, it just makes it very simple that I can just hold, you know, two fingers over the hotkeys, you know, say for example Q and W, and I can just, you know, very simply just start building paladins. But then what I then do is, because they are inversed, it would then be A to A. No, so it would be A. Sorry, I just pressed the wrong button there. A, and then holding Control, and then I would press Control and X together to actually build that structure. So A, Control, and C, for example, is stables. A and holding Control, and then say for example Control and A would make an archery range for me. That's just how I've got it set up. So I actually use the control modifier to actually build. I know that can be a little bit more confusing for some players who are just starting out. As I said earlier, it's down to individual preference. There's no right or wrong answer to this, but I just wanted to give you an overview as to how I approach this personally. Also, just to point out, having good hardware in terms of, your keyboard, your mouse is important. I have the Razer Naga mouse from 2010 edition. I love it because I used it in an MMO, and I just find it's a super good mouse. I've used lots of different ones in the past, and I just personally prefer this one. I think it's just really smooth, really fast. Fits my hand really comfortably. It just really depends on the size of your hand, though. Read up reviews about, if you just got an average size hand or a really large hand. This particular mouse I would not recommend for a person with a larger hand. But I've got up to 12 buttons on that I can use in the game. So for things like if you look in the bottom right of the screen here, just for selecting the different scores, to see sort of what my economy stats are, for example. I've got that bound to my mouse. Go to options for miscellaneous items like go to lumber camp or go to granite mine. These are bound there, and this might be for you to have a mouse that allows you to go around some binds more specifically if you want that. My keyboard is just also Razer. It's I think it's the Lycosa keyboard. It's, to be honest with you, it's just a bog standard keyboard, but it's a nice keyboard. It fits my hands comfortably. So it's worthwhile just getting something that you feel comfortable with. If you're still using something like one of these default old sort of Microsoft mouse or something like that, you're probably going to find that these older optical mouses just aren't quite as good. I don't set my DPI really high so that I have really sort of a mouse that goes everywhere all the time, but I do set everything to the highest in terms of being able to move my map quickly. It took me getting used to, guys. I did not just jump into Age of Empires and like, oh my god, I'm going to set this to the highest and now I can move around really quickly. It takes time to get used to this stuff, and at first you're going to feel outside of your comfort zone, but that's a good thing, because the more you practice and the more you try out different things, the more you're going to learn what the absolute maximum of your performance is, and how to just overall improve yourself and get continually better. So really that's all I wanted to share today in terms of sort of overview for hotkeys. My binds are posted somewhere. They do need updating. I believe it's on the Voobly website somewhere. If you just type in Major KD hotkeys into Google, I believe it's one of the top results that comes up. Feel free to have a look at that. Some of it is a little bit outdated. It does need a little bit of updating, because I will have obviously changed it since I think that was posted back in 2011. But as always, guys, really appreciate some of the subscriptions I've been getting. So it's been really nice to see you guys subscribing and obviously liking and commenting where applicable. I really just really enjoy obviously being able to do this and share a little bit more. If you want to ask me any questions when you're on Voobly, then please do around hotkeys, because I appreciate I won't cover off everything here today, but otherwise really look forward to seeing you guys soon.